So I gave up on music, at least temporarily, because I would rather play sports. But I was bad at sports at first until I became good at them. And one of those sports actually ended up having a big impact on my music indirectly. But it's hard to tell this story without some background. During the summers, we used to go to day camp when I was really young. But then my parents decided we should go to sleepaway camp. So when I was 9, they did a little trial run and they sent us to this camp that was just for 2 weeks. And it was called Camp Darkwaters. It was actually a Quaker camp. And I remember on Sundays we had these friends meetings, which I found extremely boring. But overall, I had a pretty good time there. Since we liked it, they decided we should go for the full summer, 8 weeks. But these camps were actually expensive. And we weren't rich like most of the kids there. So my mother, who was a certified water safety instructor, got a job at the camp teaching swimming. And we went to this one camp for a year. It was called Camp Kent in Kent, Connecticut. And then after that, she got a better job running the whole swimming program on the girls' camp. They had them split between boys and girls, each had their separate waterfront. So my mother was running the girls' waterfront at a camp called Camp Troopin. And we were there for 3 years. 2 of those years, I had a really terrible time. And then she got in a fight with one of the important people there. And so she got pushed out and she found another job at a camp called Camp Wayne in Pennsylvania, which is actually still open. None of these other camps are open anymore, but this one still is. And this was 1970. And this was the height of the Vietnam era. And, there was a lot of the hippie movement going on. And my mother didn't like this camp because she said people were doing drugs there and that turned her off. So she got another job the next year at a different camp called Camp Berkshire, which actually turned out to be the best time. It was just the greatest. But in these camps is where I got introduced to a lot of different sports, especially tennis and basketball. Of course, they had softball, which I love, but I didn't like tennis. And I gradually started to like basketball, but I wasn't very good at it. Although I was relatively tall compared to other kids. So I was somewhat decent at basketball just because I could get a lot of rebounds. They had an A team and a B team. And I was on the B team, and I did fairly well on the B team at Camp Troopin. But that was just the start.